What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, and we have another unboxing for you today. We're switching gears a little bit from some of our usual coverage and taking a little bit more time with black powder, and what better way to get into black powder than the actual Waterloo set if you're looking for that Napoleonic period. Now, black powder, of course, covers a little bit more than just Napoleonics, but most people are probably getting into it for that particular period. But we have some exciting things coming down the road too, with the upcoming epic American Civil War. But that's also just in general part of the time period that black powder covers, roughly 1700 to 1900, but there's many more things here. But this, again, is just a great introduction to the game, and basically giving you a mostly plastic set with pretty easy to assemble miniatures, and a soft cover of the rules as well. So on this is a box that is pretty massive overall. Again, on the bigger side for Warlord 2-player starters, but also just packed full here. So we're going to try and get this open here for you guys. Try and lift this up without having to go two-handed on it here. Like I said, this thing is absolutely a monster here. Almost got it open here. All right. So cool thing is here on the side, you can get an idea of some of our miniatures and everything, of course, too. So basically Brits and some French forces here, so we'll talk about that in more detail in just a moment. So right off the bat, basically right inside the lid, almost flush with the top of the box. Like I said, I'm pushing down on it. It is full. So great way for two people to get into the game, certainly. So right off the bat, soft cover black powder 2nd edition, so love it. Good stuff. We will have more coverage of that and the rules and everything for you guys coming up soon. Then we get a little handout here, I should say more booklet, just a little bit on Waterloo, the system itself, and just everything in the box here, and really just a super simplified basic game to get you started here. And overall, the full game really isn't all that complicated either, but this is enough just to get a quick game and get a feel for it and see if you're going to like it. So then sort of dividing everything here. Let's get this actually right side up for you guys. It's a nice little touch here, summary sheet, and it kind of helps divide everything here. So once you pull that off, good luck getting it kind of back down there. But the sides here have casualties, which are pretty cool. Nice touch from Warlord to do that. Same thing for the British side. Would have been nice if they used the sides for some more of them, but the sides are blank, so could be something that gets added maybe in a reprint or something down the road. So again, this is also for 2nd edition of black powder, so we're going to get that out of the way and take a look at the goodies here. So we get a couple dice, and that's more than enough for what you need with this basic set. So kind of get those out of the way. Some of our metal components here. So basically the 2 commanders are going to be metal, as is the cannon here, and the cannon is, if I'm not mistaken, on the British side. And then we have just a mound, a giant mound of plastic here for you. So again, value for money here is really, really good with this set. So just sprue after sprue after sprue here. I don't remember which ones they packed up top. Kind of got to get a look at them. So the roundish hats here are the Hanoverians. So getting these guys kind of separated is a bit of a chore. Then I do believe, let me get this zoomed here for you guys. I do believe we got some French here. Man, this really just does not want to zoom right now. Let's see. There we go. That's a little bit better. So I cannot remember off the top of my head. It's a little easier once everything's out of the box. Let's see. There's more Hanoverians, round hats. So the French side of it is basically a big chunk of infantry mixed with some cavalry. We'll eventually get there. As you can see, we are several sprues deep, and really we're about halfway through the box. So again, just to give you an idea, maybe it is the British actually on top. That would make sense, right? Since the Hanoverians are part of the British forces for this. I should know, I've actually assembled a couple of these, but it's been a while too. So I feel like that's more of that on the British side. What do we got here? This maybe is finally the French, or I'll have to double check. I feel like maybe that is the British. So actually, I feel like those one guys that we have been going through, that has been the French. Finally, we're getting down to some cavalry as well here, as you guys can see, but ton and ton and ton of sprues here. So whether you're picking up the whole set for yourself and just dipping in with 2 armies right away, or just assembling it so you can demo it with friends, or legitimately splitting it with a buddy, regardless, both of you guys are going to have a ton of assembly to do. But like I said, with just about everything in here being plastic, the infantry is a snap, and I wish Warlord would also have just more plastic sets like this. Not everything is, unfortunately, but yeah, this is basically a one-piece body. You put a head and a backpack on and put them on the base, and you're basically good to go. So a little bit more here. We are gradually digging our way to the bottom here. So yeah, I think those one guys here, these are the Brits. I'm sure our fellow players will correct me here in the comments at some point. But yeah, I think those were the British. French have the cavalry in this, so again, we get quite a few sprues here of those. We're gonna just kind of line them up for you guys. But it looks like 1, 2, 3, yeah, 6 sprues of cavalry, basically 2 per base here. But we got our horses to assemble and the riders, and these are basically just hussars, if I remember correctly. Or thereabout, or that kind of equivalent, but basically just hand cavalry, no ranged, and then several sprues of bases basically line the bottom here. So everything both players need to more than cover everything that's going on here. So the square bases, the smaller ones, the 40s, are for the infantry, the bigger ones for the cavalry, with some options to field singles there. Same thing on the infantry side, so depending on how you want to line things up and all that, and what size units you're dealing with. So let me get that out of the way here. So again, so we get a pile of cavalry. So we get 12 of those, and then a giant stack of infantry for the French. So basically that's everything on the French side. And then the British kind of counter us here with all infantry. So we got the Hanoverian unit, this unit here of regular line infantry, and then on the commander's side, like I said, everybody gets a metal commander. Nothing too fancy there, but the British also get a cannon to equalize things a little bit there. So taking a quick glance at our forces here, we'll kind of peel back a second and take a look at the back, just to give you guys that idea here. So like I said, the British basically get to field 2 units of infantry plus the extra unit of infantry of the Hanoverians and a cannon. So but that being said, the French have quite a few infantry, but also basically, depending on how you want to do it for this basic game here, 2 units of cavalry or 1 bigger unit as you grow your forces. So we've played this a couple times before. We like I said, we've assembled a couple of these before and done some test games. We just haven't, that was before the channel or anything. So, but the British certainly aren't like overpowered in this. I mean, yeah, the cannon is nice, but in the 2 or 3 demo games that I've played with this, I think I was playing the French, and I think I got the W each time. Not that, you know, such a small game really is all that competitive or anything, or really that this system is even geared towards that in the first place. But certainly the forces are pretty decently balanced across the board here. So, and some of the games were pretty tight too. So like I said, that cannon is absolutely deadly when it connects, and we'll pile the damage on for you. So just to recap here, what you get for your hard-earned currency here. So again, you get that softback black powder 2nd edition book, 12 plastic chasseur cheval cavalry, the 48 plastic French infantry, 48 plastic British infantry, and then another 24 plastic Hanoverian infantry, which are on the British side. So basically they get 72 infantry models plus the Royal Artillery 6-pounder. So again, it does feel like the French are pretty drastically outnumbered, but the cavalry can do work certainly there. And then again, the metal commanders. So quick image of them here. The British guy's pretty baller. He's leaning on an umbrella. It's kind of hard to see there with the basing material, but it's pretty damn cool. As we said, bases for everything as well. Six-sided dice. They're on of course, the small side as we saw, but that's all you need. And if you're a gamer, you probably have plenty of six-sided dice laying around. And then the reference sheet and casualty counter. So what we've done on ours typically is cut off all the the sides to have the casualty markers, plenty of those to put around, and then basically trimming the rest of it up and having that reference sheet is pretty nice. So you don't have to, after a few games, really you almost don't need the rule book. So that reference sheet is plenty to go off of. But I know there's of course plenty other games out there that cover the Napoleonic period and sort of this period here in general that the game is designed to cover. And there's good and bad there for those who like to go a little bit more in depth in simulation. But Black Powder in general is covering 1700 to 1900, which is pretty ambitious, of course, especially with just the rapid changes from the start of that time period towards the end. But it's a nice, easy system that will, let rather casual people, gamers, get into it and get a lot of enjoyment out of it. And whether you really want to stick with the Napoleonic period or explore some of the other things that are out there for that period that Warlord has, that's a really nice and easy inviting system. Again, a lot of other games out there, so that might be for more experienced gamers and all that. But I feel like overall Black Powder is just a nice, well-rounded way to dip your toe into this particular time period. And as you get more experience, then it's easier to wander off into some of those other games that might be a little bit harder to find or just not be as visible out there just to the casual the player. But anyway, this is again one of those awesome two-player starters that Warlord does. They really almost always knock it out of the park here with these two-player ones. And again, as we saw, there's just a ton of stuff in here. I mean, if you look at that and then kind of figure out what you're paying for that, especially if you split it with a friend. It's a hell of a lot of stuff, guys, and a great way to get started. So at some point it would be nice though to see sort of other versions of the starter. So it's if you don't want to play British or French, having something like Prussians and maybe I guess Prussians and French, or anybody else versus the French, it would seem. But just some other versions of starters, or things like that, make it so that people wanting to get a good start into the game don't necessarily or have other options as opposed to just picking up box sets and going from that. So, and again, overall ease of assembly here is pretty simple. As you saw in the sprues, infantry 3 pieces. Cavalry will take a little bit longer to put together on the French side. A little bit more work there, but overall not bad either. About the only real cleanup you're gonna have to do is just trim the metal a little bit, make sure everything's good there, and get the cannon assembled, and you're basically ready to rock and roll and get into Black Powder. So let us know in the comments, guys, if you have picked up Black Powder. Are you sticking with the Napoleonic period? What forces are you collecting? We're basically focusing on French. At some point we probably want to dip into Prussians, but that's a project for another time. We have so many things already going right now. We certainly are looking forward to the epic American Civil War thing coming out here shortly, and we'll have plenty of coverage on that for you guys. So yeah, hit us up in the comments. Let us know your thoughts overall on Black Powder and this starter. Like and subscribe if you guys haven't already. That definitely supports the channel. And if you could, if you do want to pick up anything from Warlord and want to support the channel too, hit up the link in the description. Anything you guys pick up when you follow that link comes back and supports the channel. So really do appreciate that. So we will see you guys in the next one. Look forward for more Black Powder coverage, and stay tuned. We'll see you.